Hello, YouTubers. Joe and Paul here on Wednesday, October 23rd, 2013 at 4:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Now, Paul just got home. Well, he got home about a half hour ago. And it seems that today was not particularly a busy day at the hotel. Now, Wednesdays are often a little bit slow, although this has been a fairly busy October since they have the Quarter Horse Congress people, staying with them, and a number of other outfits staying with them. And he was giving us a little bit of a gross income number here for the month.
If we keep up and all the reservations hold up and everything, we will come out making making $1 million for the month.
Now, is that gross or net?
I don't know what you want to call it. We're going to take in $1 million.
Oh, well, that's probably gross. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting little fact.
That's just us.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, for the hotel.
Just our building.
Sure. Well, yeah. Well, doesn't seem unreasonable. Given that you guys are fairly packed all this time for this the Quarter Horse Congress is 3 weeks.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other people coming in
Oh,
here
sure.
and doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for some reason, there's these cars all over the lot. It's cold. The Volkswagen Experience is painted on the side of all these different style Volkswagen new vehicles.
Are they
They're all
experiencing?
over the place. I don't know what they're here for.
Are they experiencing the window break-in experience?
Not yet.
Well, that's good.
And let's see. We're the 45th out of 640 Hampton Inns around the country.
In terms of
including them all as being liked.
Oh, okay.
Then people would rather come here than to go to this one
So
or that one.
they're basing that on customer satisfaction or money?
Right.
No, so they're not just basing that on money. They're basing that on surveys and things.
Right.
Okay. Well, if somebody takes the time to, fill out a survey, particularly if they like the place, that means they must really like the place. I think people are far more likely to fill out one of these surveys if they're hacked off at somebody, than if they're feeling benign about somebody.
Some of them, they've been talking about how they love that, how we've redone the rooms and redecorated the rooms.
You guys haven't, have you?
No,
I didn't think
not
so.
for 6 years.
Well, no, I didn't think. No, I mean, because you'd have told me. I mean, you've been there 2.5 years, and you've not mentioned that.
No,
Yeah.
we're supposed to start getting a facelift. I was told next year sometime.
Well, they can do it when they're doing all the road construction. I mean, just get it all done at once. Get it all out of the way.
I was told we're gonna get it. We're supposed to get a facelift next month of some sort. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's gonna replace all the dining room chairs and shit, or I'm telling you, those leather chairs in front of the fireplace, they gotta get it. They really,
No, leather chairs, you say?
they're awful.
Oh.
I mean, people will spill coffee and everything on
Oh,
them.
well. Yeah.
And it's stained.
Well, yeah, it's bodily fluids, substances. Substances ooze out of people all sorts of ways. Well, and out of their hands and so forth.
And out of those coffee cups. I swear they're dribble cups. I mean, because don't get that stuff, and you trail the people where they're going with it.
Well, yeah. Well, good Lord, you see. Well, I saw a certain amount of problems with people's personal hygiene and behavior, but
It's like they're walking around shaking their hands or something, and they're always spilling the slop in the coffee and their tea and whatever.
they're multitasking.
Everywhere.
They're multitasking. They're not paying attention. It's like when people drive a car and come across the center line at you, and you see that they've got their head down and they're looking at their crotch and they're playing with a device. Well, they're playing with one of two devices. Either
they'll come down and
one of them may be electronic.
2 plates of food for breakfast and a couple coffees, and they'll even get a couple glasses of juice. They'll have a plate of food, put a plate on upside down, set a juice cup on it,
Yes.
and they'll walk around and balance one on the hand, one on their forearm, that way, and then they'll try to carry 2 cups of coffee in one hand, stacked.
Well, their eyes were bigger than their mouth.
Well, they're going over and they're trying to work the buttons on the elevator to go upstairs.
No.
So that's why I'm saying you can follow them and
So-
you know where they've gone.
So
to.
the rest of the people in their room were too lazy to come down and take care of themselves.
Right. Or they were too dense to just get a tray
Ah.
from the food service
Oh, I see.
where they can go.
So
and
there is an option to
get
carry
their own
these
food.
that
They can get it.
that do not
a
involve carrying individual objects. Well, I think that's something that I was never really aware of when I stayed at hotels, is that people will come to your room and collect some of this stuff that you use and then leave in your room.
Yeah, the housekeepers will take the
it
trays.
it takes me I still haven't internalized that. Well, it's been 12 years since I've stayed at a hotel, but that just never became part of my mental landscape.
Ours, the housekeepers won't bring them back down. They'll put the trays either in their supply closets.
But then you
Or-
collect them, right?
There's a table when you get off the elevators with the hospitality phone. So like if you cannot get in your room or whatever,
Yeah.
you can go to that table by the elevators and just pick the phone up and it'll dial automatically
Oh.
down to the front desk. And the housekeepers will stick it on a rack on the bottom of that table. So when I see them, I just grab them and collect them up. Or I love it, they'll take them out of the room, they'll wipe them off, but they'll set them down on the floor and lean them up against the wall. So you walk up and down the halls collecting trays from where the housekeepers clean the room.
Well, there it is. Well, so you're off. Paul's off
I'm off for the next 2 days.
Thursday and Friday. He's off Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So that'll be a little pleasant interlude here. And on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTubers, for the moment, for the nonce, as we say. Now, Paul was telling the story of an attempt to. We are getting rain here. Oh, this is not going to work. We'll continue the story elsewhere. Now, in our transitioning into maybe telling another little bit of a story or two here in the house, since it started to rain on us, I want you to notice this Phillips head screw, which Paul is indicating very nicely. And it occurred to me, rather than having to resort to furnace tape to keep this shaft from shifting side to side by the weight of my camera, which, as It's not that heavy, guys. I thought, well, hell, Kirsty, just tighten this bad boy, which I did, and it solved the problem. So no unsightly furnace tape for me on my iPole Stealth. I've not yet had to tighten the second layer screw on this. So, I'm slow but persistent. Now, Paul was going to tell the story of this attempt to rig this pumpkin carving contest election there at the hotel.
Somebody is. Okay, it's Halloween. Yesterday was the only time that we're going to really have a free time that we could have done an employee's lunch.
Yeah, you usually do it on Thursday, don't you? Toward the end of the month.
Right,
yeah,
right at the end of the month. Yeah. Okay, but the room's all booked up, so we did it yesterday. Okay. So we did the thing. Well, we put the pumpkins out in the lobby on a display table, so the guests can snatch up some Halloween candy and vote on what pumpkin they think's favorite.
Oh, you're bribing them with
a favorite.
You're bribing them with candy to vote.
No, but it's meant for the guests.
Oh, I understand, but it's kind of like walking around money when the various precinct operatives go out, and distribute the walking around money to the various voters in the precinct. In certain big cities in the Northeast and Midwest.
Well, somebody took about 10 of the ballots and they voted on one pumpkin. And we know it's one person because they voted for the same pumpkin and the decimal is written exactly the same way on every one of the things.
They didn't even attempt to disguise their handwriting?
No.
Oh, how amateur.
He just wrote it the exact same way, and there's like 10 of them. So this one character pumpkin is winning out just because of this.
Well, it just goes to show you, doesn't it, about elections and money. Now, I have no problem with unlimited money for campaigns, but, this walking around money stuff.
Well, my thought...
Dead voters, showing up at the polls.
An employee shouldn't be allowed to vote on this stuff if they were in the contest.
Well, that's right. It wasn't... That was the rules. The guests had to vote.
Right.
Yeah.
But allow for the fact that the one employee voted on it today because she was not in the competition. So, okay. That's okay if she were to vote on it.
Now, you guys weren't using things like hanging chads and things like that, were you?
What do you mean hanging chads?
Oh, that was that whole nonsense down in the Florida election there with Bush v. Gore, hanging chads. I mean, some people couldn't muster up the strength to punch a hole with a sharp object in a pre-scored car.
No,
give me a break.
We supplied them with little squared off paper so they can write their number on it that they like.
I think you need to get...
We also supplied them a couple of ink pens to use.
Oh, you need to get David Boys up here on the cake. Either way, he'd make a great cake.
Fold it in half and they throw it in a plastic
like he did with
pumpkin,
Gore v. Bush.
like a kid would use when they go out trick-or-treating.
Well, now
that's how it's working.
Now, has the hotel taken any steps to figure out how to prevent razor blades and candy and stuff like that here this Halloween?
Well, we're not sure. We only get them tracked to you, so it's kind of hard to get a razor
Well,
blade out of
well,
it.
yeah. Well, I've sliced myself any number of times with a double-edged razor, but you know, with the two-bladed razor
Yeah.
and stuff.
Same here.
It'd be hard though to, I guess, do yourself much damage.
Well,
You certainly couldn't eat them. I suppose you could eat them if you were like a dog or a really deranged child.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if they had some kind of a hammer or something and bust the thing up, they could get one of those little truck tube blades.
Well, that would be a very entrepreneurial
Use that.
child. That'd be a very entrepreneurial child. He would have forgotten the chocolate. He would have foregone the chocolate for the joys of swallowing this little very narrow, mass-produced, industrially mass-produced razor blade.
Yeah.
Well, it takes all kinds, doesn't it, here? And we do live in a big country, so,
And it's like it would do this, it would take him and they're not that bright. They're not going to do that.
all sorts of behaviors are to be expected in a country the size of ours. Now, to briefly summarize the rest of my day is, first thing that happened this morning after, the initial sort of email at 4:30 in the morning was, it seems that Apple wanted to have me update 5 more programs because of this Maverick update, which I did, but it took about 2 hours. I was able to put some stuff down in the corner there while it did that, and then look at other stuff and do other things. But then I decided I need to do a backup. I hadn't done a backup in 14 days, and so I did a 40, that's 40 gigabyte backup, and that took me another 2.5 hours. Well, again, I could do some other things, but
Are you running a cleaner on your...
No, that
Yes.
using my G drive, backup time machine hard drive, external hard drive.
Okay.
And I also ordered David Pogue's new OS X Mavericks complete manual book, like I have for Mountain Lion. That's going to be about $28, but it'll be well worth it. Now, I don't get the sense there's going to be a lot of differences in how this thing works, but still.
One never knows.
Well, best to have the definitive advice, given the fact that I have no sort of intrinsic understanding of some of the, particularly when it comes to things like the actual stuff going in and out of the hard disk, where you might have to organize things coming in and out of the hard disk into yet another disk, which will happen because I'm halfway full. I've got a 500 gigabyte hard drive and I'm halfway full after 1 year of use. So, again, as I said when I started this YouTube channel back on November 25th, 2012, I thought one of the underlying themes would be me, learning to use the computer and how I use the computer, and it seems to have resurfaced. So, I guess on that note, anything else?
No.
All right. I'm a little scruffy today, guys, but that's it. So tough. All right. Bye-bye now. Here, we'll show you my buddy here. All right.